Good afternoon, everyone. We're just waiting for everyone to turn up. We'll kick the meeting off once we have sufficient faces in the audience. I'm Kan. I work for Avensys Tech. Most of you may have seen me on LinkedIn or heard from me via email, etc. On that side, we have Angela and Vanessa. Angela works for Giacom. She's a Microsoft 365 Copilot specialist. And I'm going to let Van introduce herself because I probably won't do a good job at that.
Well, I feel like we should be some kind of like a double act here, like Can and Van and Ange. Like, I mean, is this not like the makings of a band or something? First of all, hello. I recognize some names in the chat here. So hello, Clive. Hello, Ali. Good to see you guys. I am a global talent sourcing trainer, stroke AI strategist and consultant, all things to do with recruitment. And I'm actually on a bit of a personal journey to get to understand my Microsoft stack better, thanks to Can, who pulled me aside after I presented at the team event in where was it? In Warwickshire, about 2 months ago. Yeah, in the UK. So we've been on a bit of a journey together for me to understand, how does Copilot fit into the whole Microsoft suite and how we can get the most out of these tools that we pay for. So I have prepped Angela. There's going to be lots of questions today. So if anyone wants to sneakily feed me questions too, I'm happy to pose them. I'm excited.
Excellent. So the outline of the meeting is basically Angela's going to present some case studies, or should I say demonstrations on how Copilot works within Microsoft 365. Particularly focus today is Word and PowerPoint. And then what we'll do is, obviously, Van's going to ask us questions. We don't know what those questions are at the moment, so keeping us on our toes. But we also want you guys as the audience to take part. And, if you have questions along the way, raise your hands and Ange will get to you. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass on to Ange to start her session.
Thanks, Can. So yeah, let's get started. Thanks everybody for joining. So I usually present this at the beginning of the webinars just to show you that we are going to be discussing Microsoft 365 Copilot. All of the icons above is integrated. So Copilot integrates within Outlook, Teams, Excel, etc. Last week, we spoke about how Copilot integrates within Outlook and Teams. And this week, we are talking about Copilot in Word and PowerPoint. So let me discuss a little bit. Before I get into the full-on demos, I'll just talk about just some features or popular features that Copilot in Word can do in terms of summarizing lengthy documents, especially when you want to summarize like transcriptions, for example, which I'll go through with my demos, building some such proposals if you want to win some clients over, for prospect clients, asking for feedback. So not only can Copilot just summarize existing documents, it can give you feedback on what else you can create or add within your existing document, like a frequently asked questions page, for example. Drafting documents and reports, which I'll go through. And then the last two is training materials and creating guides. So training materials could be for internal use. Creating guides could be something for creating a process guide for your clients or your candidates on how it would look like when you go through screening, when you shortlist them, etc. So what is that journey? And Copilot can assist creating those guides for you. So hopefully you'll find it interesting once I go through it in action. Before I do that, I'll talk about PowerPoint. So anybody that uses PowerPoint can start using it using Copilot, because that's going to be a huge game changer when it comes to saving time. I know before I had Copilot, it used to take me hours, if not days, to create a full PowerPoint slide. Okay, so I used to start off with typing everything on Word, gathering all my information, and then start off with PowerPoint. And a lot of the times I would have a little bit of a creator's blocker on how do I get started. So Copilot has definitely assisted me on that perspective. So these are some examples of what it can do. So it can create pitch decks for you internally in order to try and win prospects, or, you know, help guide, you know, candidates through the process of, you know, how you onboard them, etc. Create something around your company, so an overview, visual report. So if you do use anything like Excel or anything like graphs, etc., you can embed them within your PowerPoint. And then internal training and marketing assets, because it can help you with visual imagery as well, which I'll go through. So I am excited to go through PowerPoint. So let's get started with Word first of all. Now, Word, I'm just going to show you a transcription. This is all like a fake transcription between myself or Alex and Jordan in terms of what Jordan would like for a new job opening, which is a machine operator. So we've been going back and forth in terms of what's the criteria, when do you want to onboard them, do's and don'ts, how much is the salary for this position, etc. What can we do with this transcription? This transcription comes from Teams. So you can use Teams, Copilot in Teams for assistance, or you can open it within Word and ask Copilot assistance within Word. So I'll show you what you can do within Word. So I'm going to play this video, but I'm going to I don't know if you can see it from here, but before I play the video, when you open up your Word document, you'll have a little Copilot button right above your plain document. You can click onto the Copilot button. You can ask Copilot a question or a command. In this case, I'm saying to create me a professional job description. And I was very thorough with my prompt. Don't worry about, am I going to have to type this in over and over again every time I want Copilot to generate me a job description? No, you do not have to do that. You can save it and you can always paste, it will paste into your prompt box. So I'm saying create me a job description. I want it in British English, keep it professional, highlight specific salaries, the working hours, make sure it's targeted around we are a recruitment agency, etc. And I'm also going to do using, and I'm going to say /, and you start typing in your Word document. So in this case, I typed in the name of my Teams transcription that I just showed you just a second ago. So Copilot is transforming what we discussed with Jordan into a job description in seconds based on exactly how I wanted it. Set it so experience, working hours, salaries, company culture, etc. Now you can keep it like that, or you can tweak it. Within that prompt box, you could say, make it shorter, expand on work arrangements, etc. If you're happy with it, then you can keep it and save it as it is, or you can do your little tweaks, change the font, etc. But hopefully,
Angela, I really like this. Actually, it's like you read my newsletter this morning, which was all about how do you repurpose content in the recruitment industry. So it's right on like track with what I was thinking. I just want to ask a quick question. If you were to be using another tool, I would have built my own GPT and said, this is what I want the output to look like, etc., etc. Is there any way that you can train the Copilot so you're not repeating things like write it in British English, have these subtitles, and you're just literally filling in the requirements for that particular job?
So that's when we talk about agents on our next webinar, which I believe is going to be our last webinar that we run in this series. Okay. So you can do it like this. So maybe if you're starting off, or we can create agents where you don't have to keep pasting the same prompt over and over again, because it's already embedded within the instructions. So you literally just need to upload the job description, or upload the Teams transcription, and it would create you the job description.
Okay,
so
and then
that's
one
where
more
agents will come in.
Perfect, and I'm looking forward to that session. So do you have a repository of prompts, or where are your prompts stored when you're using Copilot?
It's stored in something called the prompt gallery. So the prompt gallery has separate sections, which I don't think is on this one, but I can share it on a link. Basically, one section will show you suggested prompts that anybody can use, that's open to anyone. And then another section would be your saved prompts. So nobody else will be able to see it but yourself. And that's where you can save it. So when you click onto it, and you can click onto a copy icon or just select it, and it would pre-populate into your prompt box. So that would be, yeah, either directly through the application, but some applications you'll have to expand it a little bit further and just copy it and paste it. But that's where it would be, prompt gallery.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Great question. So there we go. We got our job description. Let's say, for example, we posted it and we've got some people that are applying for this job. Maybe you want to start sending CVs to the client and you've got a template, because everybody has their CVs are different designs and you kind of want it in a uniform way before you send it off to your client. So this is an example. I don't know how your templates look, but this is an example of my template. So down to the point of, you know, who they are, what they're doing at the moment, have they got any qualifications, etc. I've played around with this in different ways. Although I'm going to show you one way of how Copilot can start to input information into this template, it doesn't mean it's not going to improve. By all means, it most likely will improve. So don't feel like that's the be all and end all. Capabilities are increasing day after day. Just before we started this webinar, I was just telling Vanessa how, although I'm saying it can or it can't do something today, tomorrow it might be able to, because Copilot's features are advancing quite quickly. So just bear that in mind, okay? So as I said, I played around with it. The best way that I can transform a CV into a template is this way for now. And what I'm saying is I've opened up a clean Word document. And again, I'm asking Copilot, can you fill the answers? Can you fill the answers next to the words with this template? So I'll just play it and pause it right there. So I've basically copied and pasted everything that was in that Word document that you've just seen, and I've pasted it into my prompt. And I'm asking Copilot to fill in the gaps after each word, after each section. And then I'm going to input a CV. So / Michael CV. Again, an agent could be another way of doing this. But this is how you can do it one by one if you preferred. And there we go. Copilot is starting to pre-populate the template. Yes, it's not exactly like for like. The title is a little bit smaller than the one that you've seen, but it's pretty much the same context. So rather than you inputting it word for word yourself, you can see in seconds how Copilot has transformed it into a template that you would prefer. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can start making CVs a little bit more uniform before you send it off to your client.
And could we do this with the CV that's potentially being put in a PDF format?
It works with Word documents and PDFs.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay.
That's great. That was super quick.
Okay, so that's Word. Common question that I do get is, can you get Copilot to change the font, change the design, etc.? Currently, no. As I said, it might in the future. Just right now, you might have to change it into your company font or style, etc. Which is why the workaround in order to transform a CV into a template was the way that I showed you. Because the design is not embedded within Copilot's features at the moment. Right, we're still on Copilot within Word. So I've opened up the job description again. I've got a couple of people that have applied for this position. What am I going to do now? So I have opened up the Copilot button on the top right-hand side. It's got some suggested prompts that you can go with if you want, but I'm writing my own prompt. And you can attach up to 10 documents with one existing document. So there's your limit. If you want to attach more than 10, agents would be your next move. So I'm asking Copilot, now I've actually intentionally done a mistake here. So I'm asking Copilot to look through the CVs that I attached. I wanted to say score it out of 15, but I forgot to type in score or rate. So I just said out of 15 based on experience, qualification and location. Now, Copilot has only looked at 2 of my CVs because it didn't really understand what I was actually asking it, but I'm not deleting my prompt. I'm not re-prompting. I'm just redirecting. So it understands my history because it's still there. I haven't cleared my history. And I'm just saying, rate all of the CVs attached. And in a second, you'll be able to see Copilot is starting to look through all of my attached CVs and scoring it. It says rating 10 out of 15, etc. against experience, qualification, and location. Obviously, you can pick and choose how you want it. If you want it out of 15, if you want it out of 100. But that's just how my prompt is, and that's how I wanted it. So if I scroll up, I can see most likely Henry King is top of the candidates against who has applied for this job position. So I want to go a little bit further. I'm going to click on what are the strengths of this highest candidate, which is Henry King, because he's got 14 out of 15. And Copilot has immediately given me a bit of context as to why. Hasn't just said this person has 14 out of 15, this person has a lot of experience, has qualifications in manufacturing, etc. And the location matches its job, where the job is located. Now I'm asking Copilot, can you create me an email of the top 3 candidates so I can send it to this client and add a little description against it. So not only has it said these are the top 3, it gives me a little bit of a blurb underneath the years of experience, etc., as to why we've attached this information to the body of the email. And then you can just attach the email templates as well. So you can have an email, you can have CV templates created by Copilot. So yeah, Copilot can pretty much save you a lot of time. All you need to do is actually start interviewing the candidates, because Copilot can't talk just yet.
So quick question, how does it, so it rates these on specific criteria that you have fed it. So you fed it based this on location, qualification. What is your thinking around bias when it comes to AI and the recruitment process?
Bias in what way?
So there's a lot of talk about that at the moment that, is an AI more biased or less biased than a human being? Bearing in mind that, a Copilot was potentially trained by a human being who comes originally with their unconscious bias. So is it going to be better at choosing candidates and not using their bias lens, their point of reference as an individual? Do you think it's going to be a more fair process, or do you think it's going to need more human oversight on the results, because it has been chosen by an AI system?
So I would say both ways. The reason why it's called Copilot is you're supposed to check what Copilot is coming back with. So you're supposed to confirm, adjust, etc. It's not taking over your jobs or anything like that. It's supposed to assist you. Now, Copilot has been based on the large language model, which is basically where it gets all its knowledge from. It's based on public books, knowledge, websites, articles, etc. So it's not just one particular area that Copilot has learned its behavior from. It's multiple in order to understand human behavior in different ways. So I wouldn't say it is biased. I would say that it follows something called responsible AI, that it shouldn't favor one rather than the other. For example, it should really be based on your instructions. So if you say only look at location based in London and really all the candidates are based in Brighton, then you're making it biased because you're directing it.
Good answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Right, so that is everything in Word. Obviously, it's not everything, but hopefully the main parts that you can start to get an idea of what you can do it within your job role yourself. Now, I'm going to move on to PowerPoint. So, as I said, PowerPoint is a game changer. So even if you don't use PowerPoint at the moment, you can start using it, and it's going to take you literally seconds to start to create a PowerPoint deck. And I'll show you how. So I'm going to click on to create a presentation when I open up my PowerPoint slide. And it says create a presentation about, and I'm going to say my company. My company is called Copilot Recruit. And what Copilot is going to do, I should have actually showed you the document that everything that's within my company, but it's basically a lengthy document of everything that we have to offer in Copilot Recruit. I said add some images. Welcome to Copilot Recruit. So it's basically transforming a Word document into a PowerPoint slide. It works with Word documents. It works with PDFs as well to transform them. And as you can see, I haven't said how to structure it. Copilot is structuring the PowerPoint slide itself. And the citations will show you where it's got its information from. If you added more than one document, it will have different citations. If you're happy with it, you can generate it. If you weren't happy with it, you can move them around, delete the information, add more information, etc. And in a second, Copilot is going to start to generate you the slides. It's even going to add speaker notes to the slides as well, so you can confidently deliver them over Teams. And all the images that it's going to use are AI generated or from stock images. So they are basically ready to use. There's no copyright issues whatsoever. And there we go. Literally within seconds, we have a PowerPoint slide. So I'm just going to keep it and I'm going to show you it a little bit further. Let's just expand on it. And let's say I'm delivering it. It's even adding like little animations as well. So it looks quite professional when you're moving slides. Little cover slides as well. And although Copilot has created you this slide deck, it doesn't mean you can't edit it. There is Copilot within each slide as well. So you can change the text if you wanted to condense it, if you wanted to make it more professional, etc. Now, what if you wanted to use your own company branded templates, your own color scheme? What can you do? I'm just showing you some speaker notes there. Now, let's say this is my company branded template. It's very colorful. So this is the one that I've chosen. Now, what you have to do is open up your company branded templates, delete everything, because these are your sample templates anyway. So delete all of your sample templates. However, when you hover over, you will still have the layouts of your company branded templates there. We just don't need them face front. Then we open up Copilot again, just like how I showed you in my previous demo, and I say the exact same prompt. So I'm fast forwarding this a little bit. So I've paused the video just to show you because you've seen, you know, the process of it. And there we go. So we have our company branded templates and Copilot picks and chooses which template to use that's the most relevant to put that information in. So when you've seen at the beginning, there was about 9 different templates in this company branded templates. If you only have 2 or 3 and you ask Copilot to create you company branded templates using that, it might try to squeeze a lot of text into a little text box. So we do recommend revamping your company branded templates if it's quite limited. And there is some guidance to that, which we can share. Now, I'm asking Copilot to change an image for me. So change an image for, I believe, this slide. And all you have to do is delete the existing image. So no need to resize or anything like that. And then just click insert and it will insert. We can go a little bit further. Let's say we wanted a specific image. So this is where marketing can come in because they are AI generated. So it's based on how you're prompting Copilot. So I say, change this image into a jigsaw puzzle, but that was very vague. What kind of jigsaw puzzle? So Copilot is going to come back and give me a jigsaw puzzle, but it's very random. So I'm going to go back to Copilot in a second. And I'm going to say, create a person holding a light bulb and holding a notepad. I actually mentioned put the light bulb on top of his head. So Copilot, you need a little bit more work. However, I think that's still quite decent. And I'm just going to input that. And that's based on an image that I wanted, not just a picture, a very specific picture. So yeah, you can start creating images and use that for marketing purposes as well. Right, so I've gone through my demos. The last thing that I want to mention is the other webinars that we're going to go through. So next week is, if I go back to the beginning, basically all of the other applications that we haven't gone through for the last couple of weeks, we will be discussing on our next webinar. So please tune in on that because you can see a lot more other capabilities that Copilot can do in other applications that you may or may not be using and you can start using. Anything that, you know, Vanessa or Kan, you want to add?
Yeah, so I'm going to add a few live demos now to this, just to show you a few other tricks. Angela was speaking about job descriptions and CVs and stuff, and how you import it into Word to generate certain analysis. You can have them inside a OneDrive folder. So here I've got a job description. This is actually a role that I'm currently trying to fill anyway. I've got some CVs listed out there that I've got. I can then go into Copilot, which again, you can access through the web or through Teams or Outlook, etc., wherever you go to it. So I won't be showing you my Teams screen because I've got stuff that I can't show you, but this is the web version. All I've done is I've said, look, there's a job description here. I did try to see if it could find everything else in the folder. It could just be because, I had just literally uploaded it while we were having this conversation. But anyway, I gave it all the CVs and said, can you rate these? So it's come back and rated each of the CVs depending on the skill set matched against the job description, and given it a rating of out of 10 basically for each of these, giving some instructions as well as to why it did so. So that's a way of doing it. Again, I inputted PDF files. As you can see, they're not Word documents per se. Another thing that Angela touched on earlier was about how you can bring in notes from meetings that you've had, and you can generate your job descriptions and so on through Copilot in Word. And what I've done here is, instead of actually bringing in a Word document or a transcription, what I've said is, look, I've had this meeting with Nay, who does marketing. Can you please create an action plan? So I can just go generate, and it'll generate topics for us. Oh, hang on, that's not good. Okay, maybe we didn't turn transcription on. So that's a very key point. This is why Angela doesn't like doing live demos. So what would have happened is, if I had transcription enabled, it would have brought through all of the conversations that took place in that and generated something. So for example, as a recruiter, you could be talking to an employer about a potential job role, and you could generate your job description based off of that in here if you had a particular template in place, like Angela was suggesting. Those are the only two things I wanted to show. Obviously, that spectacularly failed on me there. So I'm going to try and see if I can find another meeting that's not sensitive that I can share. In the meantime, I'm going to pass you back on to Vanessa to drive some questions, I guess.
So great demo from both of you, Angela. Very good. I enjoyed that. How long does the memory last in Copilot? So will it actually remember conversations that you've had, or are you prompting from scratch every time?
No, so it remembers your prompts. You can go to your prompt history against every application. The prompts are only saved based on against your retention policies, so IT controls. So if it's 30 days, it will last for 30 days. If it's 90 days, it's just based on retention policies.
And does it learn like a tone or a style of your writing very quickly?
So yes and no. So from the day that the license is assigned to you is the day that Copilot starts to learn you as a user, as opposed to the tone of voice as an organization. So this is where agents can come in, and obviously you can train that agent to follow your tone of voice, etc. So Copilot will start to learn, who do you collaborate with? How quickly do you respond to certain recipients compared to other recipients? It's going to learn that, so it's more efficient to you as a user. Whereas if maybe you worked with a colleague and they're not using Copilot very much, it might not be as efficient because maybe they're not utilizing their Outlook teams, etc., as much as you are. So it's less. Okay. It's not indexing as much in the background.
Okay. And what you mentioned there with, showing the company details of your Recruit Copilot or Copilot Recruit, how important it is to be building knowledge bases these days and keeping all of your information in one space, so that, when we do, a lot of us still need to fully embrace using AI, but when we do, the knowledge is there.
Yes. Another thing I wanted to kind of touch on, and this is something that Vanessa just brought up, which is how do you give it drafting instructions within Copilot in Outlook? And unfortunately, this is only available in the new Outlook. And I know there's a lot of people who would chicken scream before they go onto the new Outlook. you can put drafting instructions in to give it your tone. And what I did to generate this prompt here was to go to Copilot and say to it, hey, look at all the emails that I've written in my sent items, generate a prompt that writes like me. I then used that prompt and gave it into the drafting instructions into Copilot here. And so what that does is it'll then use that instructions whenever I draft a new email. So here on Outlook, for example, it would take that drafting information and draft an email based on whatever I do. So I use this more often when I'm on my mobile phone than when I'm on my PC. But when I'm on my PC or laptop, I will still use Copilot to kind of redraft what I've written. So I might type up notes. I typically do bullet points and get it to kind of redraft it. And the same principle applies to Word. So you can open up a Word document like this. You can give it some bullet points and you can say, right, highlight those bullet points. So for example, whatever it is, I'm just going to randomly type away there, but I can literally highlight all of that, go to Copilot and rewrite using Copilot. I could give it specific instructions, flesh this out further, get information from the web, for example. So it could be like a blog that you're writing, because all of us write blogs these days. And for me, for example, one of the things I will touch on when we get to the agents module is that I've created a blog writer that transforms materials from sources that I've put together hurriedly, so taken stuff, chucked in my own notes, etc., and converts it into a publishable blog that would be written like me. So those are kind of examples that we can look at when we get to agents and stuff. You can also, from the Copilot main, oh, hang on 1 second. Before I do that, I better stop sharing my screen. Don't want to bring up the wrong screen. So going back to my initial thing where I did this comparison, I could say to Copilot now, generate a Word document that summarizes this into a table with candidate information. So it can go through, and don't worry about my spelling's atrocious. It will pick up what I said there, but it'll go through and generate that into a Word document that I can download. This experience is again available to you within Teams and on Outlook as well these days, if you're using the new Outlook. It might take a little time to run because it is doing a big task. Sorry, man.
No, just if you're paying for Copilot, then it's included.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. There's no workaround without paying for Copilot, as they actually asked that question since we last chatted.
No. So if you're going to use the Copilot features that you're seeing in these webinars, it is part of the annual or monthly license subscription. So the annual works out to be just under £300 plus VAT. The monthly ones are a bit more expensive because they're on annual monthly basis. Again, the contract term is a year. You either pay up front and you save a little bit of money, or you pay on a monthly basis. Works out to be about £26, I think, last I checked, per month. So if you put this into perspective, if you're paying for a ChatGPT premium subscription, which is about £19 or £18 something, and you're paying for note taker subscriptions and stuff on top, then add all of that up, this is far more bang for buck, basically, than all of those put together. And it's integrated. It means that your data stays within your organization. You're not risking putting data outside of, and particularly if you're using the free version of ChatGPT and uploading these CVs and stuff, please do bear in mind that you're training publicly available knowledge bases. So here we go. There you go. There's my CV evaluation.
Contravening the EU AI Act if you're uploading CVs on the free version.
Yeah, there you go. It has put stuff in. Obviously, I haven't really detailed it properly to say what it should look like. But yeah, that's it. It can generate Word documents. It can generate, PowerPoints and Excel files as well. Okay, so final chance for any further questions if anyone has any. Else, we'll see you at the next session, which is not next week, but the week after. In the meantime, we do have a session on Microsoft 365 Discovery, which takes place next week around this time. Van's obviously already been on one with me one-to-one, but obviously there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of features.
Attend. It's really good.
There we go. I do have a business standard plan. Can I use Copilot in-app, or do I have to buy? No. So you will have to buy the Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription. Like I mentioned, it's not included in any of the standard plans. But you can have it if you have Business Basic or upwards. We do always recommend Business Premium because of the additional security features you get with it. Any other questions? I saw one on the Q&A from Francis, but I think we may have already covered that. Can you ask it to score if it does not have a rating guide? I think we perhaps came across that, didn't we?
I think possibly you're referring to when we're comparing CVs to a job description. I said out of 15, so maybe
Yes.
out the accuracy. I chose 15 just because I asked it to look against 3 different areas, so 5 points each. But if you did actually apply a ratings guide, it would give you a better response and a more accurate response. So it's, again, based on your instructions and how accurate you want Copilot to follow your instructions, saying 1 and 2 would be experience under 2 years, for example. So the more you feed it, the better.
Yeah, so you could, again, we'll cover this more in detail when we come to the agents module, but essentially you could have your CVs in a SharePoint library. You have an agent that has, bear with me 1 second. Yeah, so CVs inside the SharePoint library, but then you could have instructions on the agent. So your ratings guide, your job description, etc. That's already fed into the agent that can go and look for CVs within there. Question from Zdenka here. Can we create a PowerPoint presentation with info from Excel sheets?
I presume so.
Not at the moment. So no, only you can only create a presentation using Word or a PDF or just instructions. Okay, so the workaround would be if you have Excel open, then open up Copilot within Excel and just tell Copilot, I'm going to create a PowerPoint slide deck. Can you give me a framework on how to start creating the slide deck using the information within this worksheet? And then Copilot will say, slide 1, include these insights and maybe add this report, etc. But it won't be able to do it for you. You'd have to use that framework and paste it into your PowerPoint, and then it would start to do that. So it's a little bit more of a workaround. That is a common question that I do get as well, actually. So I would say Microsoft really needs to start putting that in the roadmap. But as it stands, that's the workaround to create PowerPoint slides using Excel.
Does Office 365? Oh, does Office 365 got agentic AI features? Yes, it does. We are going to be discussing it on the 8th of July. Just on that question about prompts and stuff, you can save any of these prompts that you use by clicking on the save prompt icon when you hover over your prompts. That will put your prompt into a prompt library that you can access throughout the various Microsoft 365 apps.
We've just got another question coming through in the Q&A, which was Clive saying, last week you featured Copilot on Teams calls. I tried it this week, but I was not the meeting host. But then the meeting host got a pop-up saying I turned on the transcription. Is this right? How can I use the feature without others knowing that I have used Copilot?
So that's an interesting one. I'll take this one. So essentially, if you weren't the meeting host, you can't technically turn it on unless it's inside your organization. If it's an external meeting, then only meetings organized by you can turn it on. If it was an internal meeting, then yes, you can turn on Copilot and they will get notified. There is a way to do it called Copilot within only the meeting environment. So it happens only during the meeting. So you only get some notes. I don't think it tells people at that point. Angela, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, because it's a temporary transcription. So the other people wouldn't get the pop-up saying transcription has been turned on by you, because when the meeting ends, the transcription disappears. So you only get the transcription live on the Teams meeting, which means you have to open up Copilot during the meeting and ask Copilot for the notes that you actually want, and then copy and paste that somewhere else, because when the meeting ends, you don't have anything.
Yeah, so that would be up here on the screen. You have the Copilot button. You can click on it and kind of question it and answer, get what you want while the meeting is going on. Again, if you were to generate something in that fashion, you probably want to copy and paste it out, because the minute the meeting ends, that's when your transcriptions finish as well. Okay, are there any further questions, or are we all happy at this moment in time and looking forward to the next few sessions?
All good from me. Thanks, guys. That was great.
Excellent. Thank you very much again for everyone who's attended. We look forward to seeing you again at the next session. Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.